this episode, we interview Ryan and Barrett from Adventure Dog Overland.
At the end of the day, I decided I'm just going to go for it. In my own mind, like, how do I make the world a great place to be? How do I protect? How do I teach? New father stuff. Well, it only takes a good slip to go over the place. And he's right, like, grab a tent and go. In the winter, we would do our hot tub.
Wild Talk with Overland, Alberta.
Thanks for joining, everybody. We are here with, I'm going to say Barrett because everyone knows Barrett.
Yeah, I'm not Barrett. This is Barrett right here.
This is Barrett right here. But Ryan, who is the owner of Barrett.
That's right.
But,
or he owns me either way.
Yeah, it's got to be what it is. It's funny because the social media that Barrett has really grown has been absolutely crazy.
A little bit. Like, I wouldn't say it's an explosive one, but it's definitely a steady gain over the last 3 years now. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So, one of the things we wanted to have Ryan on here just so that we could he's had a real interesting go with the overland world in the last little bit. And he's got a really cool past. So, I wanted to invite Ryan on and just kind of go through a couple of things. And he's had... If you haven't checked out his channel, you got to try it. It's Adventure Dog Overland. And his YouTube channel has some really cool stuff on it. We're going to cover that a little bit later. But you have to go check it out. Adventure Dog Overland. So, Ryan,
Thanks, man. As always.
I really appreciate it.
I love seeing you guys. Whether I have to drive through a snowstorm or not to get here. So.
Yeah. There's a huge snowstorm going on out there right now. It took me 50 minutes to drive from Red Deer to Lacombe to be here. Just ice, sheer ice. But
2 hours for me, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you for coming.
No worries.
So, what's Barrett? What's his breed?
Barrett is a purebred Chesapeake Bay Retriever.
Okay.
And he is the darkest type you can get. So I've had lighter ones. I've never had the grass color, like the Alberta grass color, but he's the darkest you can get. He actually was in an article last year about the 9 different colors of a Chesapeake Bay Retriever, and yeah. Barrett, come here.
Yeah, you gotta check this out.
Yeah, come here, boy. Huh? No, you don't want him, but yeah, he's nice and dark. They all have golden eyes. Oh, cool. They all have a white patch on their chest of some size. He's got a bit of a small one. They average between 75 to 90 pounds for males.
Nice.
And females are about 65, 75. They all have that double coat with the curly hair, and that's the real big giveaway. It's always, well, what kind of mixed lab is that? Like, nope, it's not a mixed lab. It's a curly-haired dog.
Awesome. Yeah, he's a beautiful dog. I'm going to put a couple pictures here. He likes wearing these goggles.
Well, I don't know if he absolutely likes wearing them, but he looks cool wearing them.
He does look cool.
And there's reasons for that, right?
Okay.
So, like in the winter now with the sun glare, I don't want my dog to get early onset cataracts. So we're always outside. We're always camping, snowshoeing, this and that. And I don't want the sun glare off the snow to affect his eyes. So just like I wear sunglasses or you wear sunglasses, he's wearing goggles.
Oh, that's really cool. Looks like I'm going to have to buy some goggles for Kiwi now.
Yeah. It's something you got to train early, though. Like,
yeah. Oh, she's not going to like them.
No.
So, you're a father.
Yep.
And you've had a pretty interesting career in the past.
I've had a couple, yeah.
So, just in case you didn't know, Ryan was actually really involved with the MMA.
Yeah, mixed martial arts, yeah.
What was your history on that?
The whole history, like some.
Well,
yeah. All right. So a bit of an aggressive kid growing up, as some of us are.
Yeah.
Right. And so at the age of 4, I was started in karate, but it wasn't really solving that aggressive problem at school. I needed a more combative. I guess I had a more combative nature. So then it escalated to jiu-jitsu, where it wasn't just standing there doing katas, but it was grappling and going for chokes and arm bars and stuff like that. The jiu-jitsu I stuck with my entire life. So from 4 years old to even currently 35, which I guess puts me at like 24 years now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then while doing the jiu-jitsu, I also took on Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, Boxing in particular, I loved. I paid a good amount of money, but for a really good coach, Rob Peltier. He was Muhammad Ali's sparring partner when he was 19 years old.
Yeah.
So quite a bit of knowledge. And then I took on judo and wrestling in university at Brock University. So yeah, so I've been around the whole thing. I started teaching at the age of 14 on a leadership program to get my community hours. And the teaching continued on to me becoming a teacher or sensei in the martial arts world, gaining my black belt at 18 and my second degree black belt at 21.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So you did a lot of training with some cool people.
Yes, I did. Yeah. So my normal training was 6 days a week. 6 days a week, and I would come in right after school, teach for 4 hours, and then do 2 hours of my own personal training. And then during other days, I would go to either Brock University to wrestle or down to Burlington because I'm from Niagara Falls, not from Alberta, even though you could never tell, right?
You fit in with all us Alberta boys.
Yeah. So then I would go to boxing down there. So lots of traveling, lots of coaches. And then I slowly broke into the celebrity, the social media aspect of MMA. Where I started meeting and training out with guys like Nate Markler. I've trained with John Jones long before he was UFC champion, which I'm now dating myself. Rashad Evans, Forrest Griffin, Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, lots of old names that a lot of people remember, but maybe not watched nowadays. But yeah,
that dates me too because I remember all these guys.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. And then from there, what did you end up doing?
So from there, long story short, I had a car crash. I flipped, not intentionally. I hit a piece of construction equipment during a rainstorm, and I flipped my first car, my Toyota Corolla, across 4 lanes at 100 kilometers an hour. Shattered my entire leg. The engine actually pushed back onto my left leg, and I broke it in 6 places. I got out of the car and pulled my friend out and was yelling at him, "Are you okay?" until the adrenaline dump came down. Wow. But that ended my MMA career because I couldn't get cleared to fight anymore. So after that, the fighting here wasn't quite over. So as soon as I was medically cleared to walk, I walked into a recruiting center for the Canadian Armed Forces. And I had a university degree and everything, so they wanted me to be an officer, but I had one thing on my mind, and that was go into the infantry. So I wrote infantry 3 times, and they tried to play a game saying, "Oh, we're not hiring the infantry in Ontario." I said, "Okay, well, I'll go anywhere. I just want to get into the fight that currently was Afghanistan." And so I ended up in Alberta after a year of training up, and I've been here ever since. And now I refuse to leave.
There you go.
So, you're not getting rid of me.
That's okay. I don't mind that. I like camping with this guy.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. That's a really cool story, right?
Yeah.
So what ended up piquing your interest in camping and overlanding?
Well, it's a buildup, right? So like first the MMA world, then we enter the military, and then after, which is now 14 and a half years, when you're in the infantry, and I was in the light infantry, so I didn't get a ride very many places. And if I did, you'd fast rope out of a helicopter about 30 kilometers out from the objective, and you ruck throughout the night with night vision and a 100-pound bag on your back. And so camping, getting paid to camp, kind of, with lots of physical exertion involved, but sleeping out of a backpack for 200 days a year in the field training and doing stuff like that. But it really was my kid. Because if you had asked me during my military, especially when I was going hard, let's go camping, I would have said no. And the reason was because it was a cat. Okay.
Yucapac's resident cat.
Leave the cat. Perfect. Leave the cat. But yeah, if you asked me to go camping, I would have said no, because I just did probably a month in the field prior to my first weekend off.
Yeah.
Right?
So you were camped out at that point.
I was camped out. Yeah. So then in 2018, my daughter was born. And that's where I started to be like, okay, I have all these skills, and I really do enjoy the outdoors. And now, at that point, I had the ability to say, you know what, if I want to go home, You all right?
If we get an opportunity, if you get an opportunity to grab him,
What, the cat?
grab the cat,
Yeah.
and then put him in the office.
Okay.
It's all good.
It's all good. This is a bloopers.
Yeah, this goes on the blooper reel.
And then 3, 2, 1. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. If now that we're back, if you asked me to go camping, I wouldn't go. But then my daughter was born, and I had all these skills, and I was like, we're really moving into a world of technology. And I was just looking at this little new thing that I was completely engulfed with and needed to, in my own mind, like, how do I make the world a great place to be? How do I protect? How do I teach? New father stuff, And then, unfortunately, I ended up becoming a single father the first year in. And so I was like, I'm going to take my skills and I'll help with the education and get the technology that she needs, but I'm going to do all of our family moments away from all of that, because the schools are teaching the technology, iPads, stuff like kids have phones by the time they're 10 years old. And I was like, all of our family moments, all of our memories will be camping. So I went and bought a Napier tent from Canadian Tire for, I think, $150 for this truck right here. Put it in the back with 2 cots, a small cot, a big cot, and off we went on our first camping trip, which you guys actually gave away tickets to at the last expo, because my first place that we went to was Rock Lake.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I love it there.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
it is pretty gorgeous.
It is, yeah. So we kept going back every year. Once we got him, I have a photo of him and my kid with just down at the lake where the boat launch is, with the mountains in the background. I go retake that photo every summer, and I have them all lined up on the wall at home.
Nice.
Yeah.
So just to mention something real quick, we have an AOA event coming up in May at the Rock Lake Earth Lodge.
Oh.
It's going to be cool. It's a family event. It's just a one-day event. If you want to come out and camp, we're going to probably grab some of the campsites in the provincial campground there.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a fun time. Anyways, I just wanted to cut in with that because it kind of fits.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did not know he was going to do that. So yeah.
So anyways, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And get your kid into camping when they're young so they appreciate it. The Napier tent, I think I got a picture I'm going to post out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is so cool because what that does is it shows you don't have to have the biggest, bougiest setup to go out and enjoy the outdoors. You don't need that. You just grab your vehicle, grab a Napier tent that's probably worth, what, $100?
I think they're 200 now.
200 now?
Because camping's a little bit more popular, but
Yeah, just head out, go have fun. And that's awesome.
yeah.
That's really awesome.
And then he came, so me and my kid went 2 times, and then he was born, picked him up right away. And the first week we owned him, I went 5 hours in camping again. And then the evolution of overland begins after that, because then it's and he's right, like grab a tent and go. In the winter we would do our hot tent, which I'll send you a picture to put up as well.
Perfect.
But it's a a normal cone strip tent, but a hole with chimney for wood stove. And I've been doing that with my kid since she was 18 months old.
Nice.
And because if you know what you're doing, because I've lived out of a backpack in the Arctic in February with minus 60, like in tents and stuff like that for work. So after
that's hardcore.
It's 5 weeks in minus 60, minus 70 at night. With you got your team in one tent and a wood stove, and that's where I learned how to do hot tenting.
That's cool.
In Cougarook, which is above. If you go way above Manitoba, that's where that is. So yeah. But yeah, so I learned that, and I brought my kid, knowing how to double stuff sleeping bags, keep everybody warm, and even Alberta minus 20, we'll go camping.
That's awesome. Yeah. So what got you to build what you have now?
So that's the and we'll talk. So again, like grab a tent and go. Right?
Yeah.
We want everybody. I want to see everybody out there. I love when I run into somebody on the trail and they're like, "Is that Barrett?" You know, even you, I saw you on a trail before we ever knew each other in person.
That was in the Ghost, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in the Ghost. Yeah.
He's driving by, and I'm like, hey, there goes Barrett.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's Alberta Overland, the guy I watch on YouTube, and that's how I learned about this place. Yeah. But so the evolution begins, right? Because you have a Napier tent. It's awesome until you get tired of pulling everything out of your truck bed and putting it under and hoping it doesn't go missing while you go do things like kayaking and stuff like that, right? So that's where the rooftop tent came in, because the rooftop tent, you could mount higher, you could open it without emptying your truck bed, and then I could reuse my my original tonneau cover. So security was a big thing, kind of, because I can keep everything safe. I can, you know, inflate our kayak, go kayaking, know my truck can be locked and it's all good. As well as, you know, when you got a crazy dog and a kid and you're a guy by himself trying to watch everybody and cook everything, it's just a little bit easier to just open a rooftop tent and then it's done. As well as it's kind of like a treehouse for your kids, right? Like,
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's cool. He's got the awning, the 270 awning that comes out. And
I wish I could say it was a great idea right off the bat, but I learned the hard way. Barrett's playing in the office. Come here.
He's digging through all the new files.
Barrett, what's this? Come here. So what I originally did was I tried to build an armor. And I bought a tarp and some bags and tried to stick it off and hang it off the back of the rack, hanging off the rooftop tent. It worked for about a foot of shade, right? And then I tried the moon, was it the moon shade?
Yep, moon shade.
Yep. I tried that, and that's a great thing to have, and it's budget friendly. I think I got it for $140 as well.
Oh, cool.
And it's just, again, when you're by yourself, it's a difficult setup. So then I got the side pull-out Overland Vehicle Systems awning, which I actually bought walls for, but it's still a very narrow thing. So I actually gave the walls to Dave, and then we were going to camp in Drumheller.
Okay.
And I wanted 5 days in Drumheller, show my kid everything, that the dinosaurs and the desert and all of that. But I have a dog who lives for Arctic conditions, right? Or not Arctic, but cold water conditions. And so I was like, we need shade and we need it fast. So I gave in after all those other experiments and bought the 270, and I couldn't be happier. You undo the bag, you walk around, you're done, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're pretty convenient for sure.
Cut!
That's cool. So, been on a couple of adventures with you already.
Yes, we had some great times.
Oh, we did. We've had some really good times. Tell me about your Iceland trip.
Yeah, so this year we're what, 30 days away from the new year.
Yeah.
So this past summer, on a whim, I was sitting at work on a night shift, and really kind of one of the few things I can watch on my work, I'm going to give this away and I'm going to lose the ability, but on my work computer is Overland's website, because they have their own network, right? And so I can watch it on the work computer. So one night, 2 a.m, it's a night shift, I'm rewatching Overland, and I'm like, man, that adventure would be cool. And I was like, what's really stopping me? So I looked at my schedules between my work schedule and my kid's schedule, and I found an 8-day gap where she was going to be on a trip anyways. So I was going to be by myself, and I generally don't like sitting at home by myself. Like, I got Barrett, and he helps a ton, but he doesn't like sitting at home either, right? So
he's an active lifestyle.
He's an active lifestyle dog, yeah. If you want a Chesapeake Bay Retriever, if you don't have a farm, then you have to be very active. But I was sitting there, and then I just started Googling flights. So this is the trick. If you Google the word flights in Google and then open up maps right away, it will show you the current cost of every flight on the entire maps page.
That's cool.
And you just zoom out. No, leave the cat. And you just zoom out, and you can start clicking country to country to country, and it'll tell you the best deal right on that Google search. And so what I did was I clicked on that, and I was looking at different places, and Iceland came up for a round trip of $800 for
Wow.
the specific days that I had off. And if I added a day or subtracted a day, it went to $1,600.
Double.
So literally the exact days I needed, $800 round trip. And I kind of went, I don't think I can ignore this. I think this has to happen. So I bought the ticket, and I was 5 weeks out from the date. So then I had 5 weeks to go. Okay, what can and can I not do? So I had to do a ton of drone research, right? Because I'm going to a different country. Is my drone allowed? What are the rules? Are they similar to our rules? Do I need a license? Do I need a what's the word I'm looking for? A permit to fly, right? Because lots of Iceland is protected parks. And so I did my research. I found out that most places are okay, but there are the signs that say no drones. They do have a flight limit of 200 meters. You cannot go above that whatsoever. But a lot of spots are okay. And I actually talked about that in one of my videos. I think I filmed the sign. I say lots of places that you see drone footage of, those places bought a permit. And they filmed with a permit. And you can't just go and fly. You can get in a lot of trouble. And you can kind of ruin it for everybody else, right? And I really wanted to follow those rules. So I got some great drone footage, but there was other spots where I'm like, I wish I could fly, but you're not allowed to, right? So yeah, I brought all my cameras. I spent probably $300 on extra batteries for all my cameras. And then the last thing was, where am I staying? And I love this lifestyle of overlanding. Like me and you, we have a goal. It's 1 week, or at least once per month, we go camping, right? If I could do this for months on end, I would. So this is the way I travel now too. So I went and I got a Suzuki Jimny, which I've never driven before. I also have only driven manual once. In training, so like it was a 1 day thing, did some training and then done. So I get this Suzuki Jimny, and you can't use any of the electrical vehicles, and a lot of electric rentals are EVs now, or half EVs, and none of those are allowed water crossings. So really? It would have meant just going around the it's called the Golden Circle, right? And so I wasn't happy with that. So I was like, all right, I'm going to rent a Suzuki Jimny manual, a 2015, which ran me, what did it run me? It ran me $1,200. And it had a rooftop tent ready to go on it. So being in a vehicle I could fit in the back of this truck was new, because now I'm like back on the ground again, you know? And I really didn't know if it was going to be able to handle a lot. So I actually went and bought tiny traction boards, and I brought them in my suitcase.
Oh, cool.
In hopes that I didn't need to use them. And I actually didn't, and so I gave them to you guys to give away at the last AOA Expo. So, but I had them in case I needed them, right? I was like, if one thing I need is rescue gear, because my plans were to go in the middle of Iceland, where not too many people go, and I've never been there. I don't know the area, so I didn't know how many people I would see and not get stuck, hopefully, right?
So the F-roads, in case you didn't know, the F-roads they're no joke. They're pretty cool. So did the Suzuki Jimny make all the F-roads?
Yeah. So I found out that the Suzuki Jimny is a very popular off-road European vehicle. This is super popular in Australia and Iceland. They were everywhere. Now, I bumped into a few, and they're lifted with bigger tires, which is not an option I had with the rental I had, because I was trying to stay within a $4,000 budget. So I had the flights of $800, the Suzuki at $1,200, gas and food was the next thing, right? As well as the few things that you might need to pay for. Every parking lot is a paid fee parking lot in Iceland, because basically the whole place is a tourist attraction. And so how they keep up their highways and everything is every parking lot you enter, it takes a front picture of the front license plate. And when you leave, it takes the back picture, and hopefully you've paid while you were in the parking lot, or else you'll get a fine. I only got one fine. I went through a tunnel that saved me 2 hours around a mountain, like going straight through a mountain, and I didn't see the thing to pay a ticket for. So I used the tunnel, and then within 2 hours, I got an email saying, "Oh, you got a ticket. You didn't pay the tunnel fee." But I couldn't. I couldn't read it, so I had to wait until I turned in the vehicle. And I'm like, by the way, I got a ticket. Can you tell me what it's for? And I'm like, and they started laughing. I was like, I think it's for speeding. I don't know. And they're like, there's no way you were speeding in a manual Suzuki Jimny.
Good point.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it's an awesome little vehicle.
Yeah.
It handled the. I've done lava roads before, and actually watched 4 different Humvees blow tires on lava rock in Hawaii a long time ago. And so lava rock was a big concern of mine because I've seen huge Humvee tires get popped, and now I have this tiny Suzuki like normal tire, and I was so worried about popping a tire. I only had 1 spare, but it navigated really well, the tininess of it. And also so Iceland made F-roads are off-road, but it's a maintained off-road. You can't just go off the road. It's a dirt road that you have to stay on. It's absolutely, I think it's what is it? It's like a $3,000 to $10,000 fine if you're caught driving off the path that they put, and the path is just a tractor. So a lot of it the whole way, because it's a tractor on treads will just go and repave the same road every year, making sure that all the snow and nothing moved it. But the tractor will go and create the road. They'll pin kind of those orange posts. They'll show you every 500 meters or so. But other than those 2 things, that's all you get to go off of. And so, so I ran into a few locals, and even them, they were like, okay, you're not from here, but do you know not to leave these dirt roads? I'm like, yeah, I've read up on that. Like, good, because we like to take care of our country, which is, it's a good thing, because we see here, or in America, there's always those few people that go off, do some things they're not supposed to do, and then trails end up getting closed, right? And we deal with this with Trails for Tomorrow, which I've been so happy when I can get out and help with that as well. And we're protecting trails by going out and kind of cleaning up on other people's mistakes. We'll call them mistakes, right? So Iceland is very good at keeping those trails open for people by making it a big deal, right?
I have to ask. I saw the one drone footage where you're driving. It didn't even look like there was a road. It just looked like this huge plain with multiple rivers all across it.
Yes.
It was really epic looking. It was really cool. What was that?
Okay, so I was on my way to the mountain Melifell, which is this very beautiful, famous mountain. It's completely green in a sea of black sand, which is volcanic rock that's been turned into sand over time. So that is F-Road. I'm just going off the top of my head here, but I brought F-Road 232 up to that, which is where I crossed that waterfall, where I drove across the waterfall. And then from there, I made a right turn onto 210, F210, which if you continue on brings you to Melifell. Now, I wasn't ready for the rivers you're talking about. All the research I'd done, I hadn't seen anything about mass water crossing. Couple water crossings, yeah. Even when Overland went, it was not like that. So I went, and during my trip, it rained quite a bit. And the locals told me that it was one of the most rainiest seasons they've had in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So on top of that, the glaciers are also, they're saying they're melting a little bit faster. I talked about it in my video, but it's somewhere around 8 feet per year now.
Oh, wow.
So the mix of the rain, it being summertime, so the glaciers were melting at the same time. I come across this obstacle that was about 1 kilometer long, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you don't know how deep the water is, you don't know how much water there is, and I had to make a call. As hard as it is, you know, I got the drone out and tried to get some looks, and but at the end of the day,
Captor's dog thing going on here.
Bear, you're a good boy. But yeah, so at the end of the day, I decided I'm just gonna go for it. It's not my vehicle, it's a rental, all this thing, but I'm like, I told them I was gonna watercross, that's why I'm in this manual Jimny. I'm gonna go for it, I'm gonna see what happens. So start going through the water, and I'm trying to film drone footage at the same time, right? And it's like, okay, it's not too bad. And then I'm not getting any speed out of it. And I'm like, oh no. So I had to shift down to low gear, right? And then try and get more speed, and then I would lose it again. And so I'm constantly shifting, and the thing's telling me, go to 2, go to 1, go to 2. I'm trying, and I'm trying to get drone footage at the same time. And all of a sudden I'm going nose down into a river, then back up on a bank. And it doesn't show it on the footage because so much is going on, but I actually end up stalling out the middle of all that.
Yeah.
The only thing that saved me is I stalled out and rolled up onto this little black sand island.
Nice.
And was able to restart the car, because if I had stalled out in some of the deep rivers, that would have been probably it for me. I would have been walking like 4 days back.
And so did your insurance cover that?
No. I have every insurance package you could possibly get when I did that, and they still won't cover you for water damage.
Yeah.
So, but I got the vehicle going again, gunned it, got all the way to the mountain, and then I run into this huge, I think it was a Nissan, but it's in the video. It was an orange Nissan on, the massive Iceland tires. Yeah. And so I get the footage that I wanted to in the picture of this beautiful mountain, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back the way I came, but at least now I know you're here. So if I don't make it back, come tow me out. He's like, yeah, no problem.
Nice.
So I got all the way back across that. Very nerve-wracking, like the hard. I've done water crossings, but not like that.
Yeah.
That was multiple water crossings on the go, not knowing exactly how deep it was, and I don't recommend doing that. That was definitely. I risked it for the biscuit, and I got it, but I can't say that would happen the second time.
In a rental vehicle, no less.
In a rental vehicle, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Which after that, like, I think I'm safe now. It's been a while, but after that, all my signal lights wouldn't work.
Oh,
so I think I blew a fuse in that process, but they didn't find it a big deal, so it was all right. It was also I got the Suzuki Jimny. Not because I was like, oh, I want a Suzuki Jimny, because I first typed F-150. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm used to. Yeah, $7,000 for the week. So, yes. So I was like, you know what? With everything I want to do on this trip, I'll get a vehicle that if I have to, I can buy outright at the end and say, okay, well, it's my problem now. Don't worry about it, right? So to buy out the Suzuki Jimny, if I ruined it, would have been $4,000. I can live with that, and good story, probably turn into a couch at home or something like that,
Overlanding on a budget.
Yeah, overlanding on a budget. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, those river crossings, I'll never forget the rest of my life. Like, it was totally worth it. Mm-hmm. Just next time, or if anybody's going, reach out to me and I'll let you know what you could expect, because I saw no footage on water crossings like that. I've seen footage in Iceland of tourists making mistakes, but those were obvious rivers not to cross, right? But that was just a crazy kind of like, this is not seasonal, this is just happening right now, and it's your luck. And I took it, and it worked out. And then immediately right after that, I was following the guys I bumped into. The next river crossing, which would have led to my chosen campsite, couldn't do it. I was like, absolutely not. This vehicle won't do this one. Turned around and had to adapt my plans from there. Yeah.
There you go. So if you haven't seen his YouTube videos, you gotta go and check them out. Him crossing that, absolutely epic. It is really, really cool.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Especially another good epic scene as well is that waterfall.
Which one?
There's a few. Where you're driving in that huge waterfall.
Oh, driving over top? Yeah. So that was actually on the way to that giant water crossing. That was first.
Oh, okay.
And it started raining at the exact moment I was trying to do that. So again, the things you don't see on camera, right? But I'm like, drone's in position. I run back to the vehicle. I get in. I go quickly as I can over the waterfall, which I'm driving over a waterfall. It only takes a good slip to go over, right? But I get across the waterfall, and then I bring the drone back right away because it was torrential downpour the moment I finished that crossing. But the whole place is so amazingly beautiful. Like, I love the mountains we go visit, but it's just like seeing everything at once. Very.
So I have to admit, it is huge on my bucket list to go to Iceland.
Yes.
Especially after looking at it. I have seen Overland's videos, but I knew Ryan. I was like, Ryan! As I'm watching his videos.
Yeah.
You have to check him out. Adventure Dog Overland on YouTube.
Thank you. Yeah.
Phenomenal trip.
He's the adventure dog, obviously. I'm just a dude.
Barrett. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone knows his channel by Barrett.
Yeah.
But what a wicked trip. It was an awesome trip.
Yeah, no, it was an amazing trip. I'll do it again in a heartbeat. Yes, you're my big boy.
Look at that.
Yeah, I'll do Iceland again in a heartbeat. Obviously, there's other places I want to go see as well. And I'm, planning. I think somehow I've turned into this guy. I'm planning trips like 10 years out right now. Like, I'm like, this is how much money I need, and I want to see the world, and this is how I want to do it. Because this wasn't the first time I had a taste, because I did Costa Rica as well, where I rented a vehicle, and the purpose was just 48 hours, but I was on the coast on vacation, and I was like, I could spend this whole 2 weeks on the beach, but I wanted to go see a rainforest, which was 4 hours into the jungle. And so I rented a 4x4 vehicle and ended up doing water crossings and driving on mountain roads and everything. And I got to do that in Costa Rica as well.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
South America is that whole area. It's pretty awesome.
Yes. Yeah. And it's closer than we think,
Yeah. So what are your plans going forward?
Oh, well, I know me and you have been starting to talk about some plans. I also have some plans in the works with our BC friends.
Yeah.
I'll give you some personal plans because I don't want to ruin any surprises of the future. But personal plan for next summer is definitely the PNW, the Overland. What is it called? What's the full name of that one?
Pacific Northwest.
Pacific Northwest. I would love to go and check. I love your expos and all Canadian expos. We absolutely love attending, and Barrett loves the attention he gets there. But it'd be really neat to see how the Americans do it. So the PNW, I'd like to get down there. Also, just curious to see how many people would be like, "That's Barrett," if we showed up, because that seems to happen a lot when we show up at the AOA Expo, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. The first year I wasn't even known; it was just him. So I put myself on camera more nowadays. But yeah,
that's cool. Well, I might see you down there because part of my new job is I might be going to some of these events.
Okay.
With the company that I'm working with, so I might end up seeing you down there. Maybe
let's just road trip together.
Yeah. Totally in. That sounds good. Well, exciting times. I think definitely check him out on his social media platforms. And Ryan, I really appreciate you coming and driving on horrid roads.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. I might not be leaving for a couple hours.
Yeah, we might stay here and have a pizza or something.
That's all right.
Yeah. But thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, as always, it's been a pleasure. And make sure you're checking out his channel as well at Overland, Alberta.
Overland, Alberta.
Yeah, Overland, Alberta. And then thank you, Yucatan Campers, for letting us hang out in your awesome workspace. And Blind Man Overland.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Dave, come take a bow.
Dave?
No, he's not going to come take a bow.
Cat,
but keep tuned because I am going to have a full interview with Dave coming up.
There you go.
That should be a lot of fun. Anyways, thanks everyone.
Catch you out in a while.